There should be more.
No, one and done. We have one more and snip, snip for me.
I get it. And you guys, it sounds like with all these projects and maybe moving your mother-in-law, you know, I know like when Brittany was here, she talked maybe about Kentucky. I know you've talked about Florida. It sounds like you guys might be staying in Hollywood, LA.
You know, I keep driving it. I can't believe that she wants to stay and I want to go. It used to be the other way around. Like for the last 7 years, it was like, are we done yet? Now I want to go. No, it's nothing against California. I love it here, but it ran its course for me. I want to go back where family. It's family to me. We have no family here. We see our Instagram of our family members. All the kids are getting together, the cousins. You know, and when you get to a lot of my friends here, I have a dad group chat. Everyone's gone. Everyone's moved either back to Texas, Florida, the Midwest, Vegas, wherever. But my circle has gotten a lot smaller here. Now everyone's having kids. Everyone's starting the next chapter of their lives. Everybody's moving back to the Midwest where things are a little bit calmer. Taxes are a little easier. Things are a little less expensive because now I have a child to raise. You know, I got to budget this. I want to put him through college. You know, it's not a cheap place to live here. You know, and I miss the suburbs. I've always wanted to get out of the suburbs. Now I miss the TGI Fridays. I miss the strip malls. I miss Applebee's. I miss, you know, just the normal. I grew up in the suburbs, the cookie cutter lifestyle, which I hated when I was younger, but now I want to go back to. Little league at practice on Saturdays, going to church on Sundays. I just miss the suburbia life. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but I miss it. So yes, the end game is to leave here, whether we go to Kentucky or Florida, I don't know. I'm going to leave that up to my wife, whatever she wants to do. But yes, at some point we are going to leave California. I can't raise my child here. I can't. It's just not what I want for my kid. Nothing against it. It's not for everybody, but for me, I'm a Midwest boy. Brittany grew up in the South. We just have different ways that we want to raise our kids. You know, we want land and just farm animals and just, like I said, the suburbia. I want to drop my kid off at school and it's little league practice on Saturdays and things like that. It's tough to do in the valley where we live.
Jax and Brittany take Kentucky Part 2.
Yeah, that would be great, right? Now what?
Now what?
We go now.
And final question, unless you want to bring up anything else afterwards, you could. I mean, do you regret anything like from your time on the show? We've seen the highs and lows. Like, do you regret anything?
I think we all know what I regret. I think the main thing is, you know, hurting Brittany. I think that is my only regret. And, you know, I don't want to dive back too much into that, but I was going through a really bad time. And I'm not justifying what I did at all. What I did was the most disgusting thing you can possibly do. But I lost my dad in that same month. You know, my life was destructive. I was trying to sabotage my life. That's what I used to do, was sabotage myself. That's why I'd never been a good human being. I would just purposely do more harm than good to myself. And that was a different Jax back then. That was a different human being. My life on the outside looked great, but I was a borderline I was bad. I was bad in my brain. I didn't want to leave my house. I was constantly crying. There was a lot more that went into what people saw that I did than people know. Like I said, I was very self-destructive and I was hurting myself. I was drinking a lot. I was locking myself in my study. It was a bad time. So like I said, you know, losing my father, what I did to Brittany, it was a very, very tough time for me. I don't ever like to look back on that. But that was the one thing that I do regret. You know, I had a lot of insecurities with myself. I hated myself. I didn't like the person I saw in the mirror. You know, I looked back and I'm like, look how many bridges I burned. Yeah, it was a successful show, but God, it costed a lot. It costed a lot, you know, mentally to put on a show like that. And you don't really realize what I was doing until it was on TV, because I was doing these things before I was on TV. And then you look back, you're like, am I really this piece of shit of a human being? Like, oh my God, I can't believe who I hurt. I just didn't see it. So I guess it was almost a blessing seeing it in disguise, or seeing it in, you know, on TV and having people come out and saying this. I'm like, God, I am a bad person, because nobody really called me out on it before. Nobody held me accountable. So I guess you can look at the silver lining, and it was a blessing that people were calling me out. I'm like, God, I am a bad person, or, you know, I need to change my ways. So I guess that would be it. Yeah.
That makes sense. And like, you were sabotaging yourself because like you didn't think you deserved good things. No. Like I totally get the psyche behind it.
And when things were going well, what can I do to fuck this up? That's where I was always looking. And I was a very self-destructive person with alcohol, with many things. And I I'm like, oh, things are going way too good. What can I do to screw this up? You know, like I was that person. Instead of just embracing it and calming down, yeah, that 9 years on that show went by really fast. It went really fast. And I was on a self-destruction for a lot of it, you know, because I felt like that's the only way that they would like me. So if I wasn't causing harm or hurting somebody's feelings or being destructive, then I felt like I wasn't needed.
I get it. Well, listen, as long as you don't regret telling Lisa Vanderpump that it was your show, that's all I care about. I'm making a joke, obviously.
Did I say that?
That final scene, your swan song, you said, like, this is my show. I'm sure it was edited a certain way. And Lisa said, this is your show. Remember all that in the end?
I apologize if I said that. Again, it obviously came out of my mouth. If I said that, that's embarrassing. It's definitely not my show. It was all of our shows. You know, we all play different parts. We all work as a team. There was no one person who carried a show. Everybody, I know I the number one guy in the group and all that. It's all funny and everything. But at the end of the day, we all had to bring this together to make this wonderful show. And it was a great time for the 9 years I was on it. I'm not counting what's on now, but when I was on it, it was a lot of fun. We had a good time. It was a family. It was a time too that we'll never get back. But we can look back now and we can laugh at it and we can move on. But gosh, I do regret saying that. Yeah, I regret it. But if I said that, I apologize. Again, it was one of those things where you're in the moment that you don't think about. And it definitely was not my show. It was everybody's show.
It became a thing. It was all over the internet that you said to Lisa, and Lisa said, excuse me, whose show is it? And it became a thing.
Yeah, I'll apologize to that. I mean, do I regret it? No, but I should have said it.
Well, listen, you have been so open and honest. Is there anything else you want to cover? You and Brittany will have to come back, especially if you have a book and she has a book, you can come back together.
Yeah, you have a book coming out. I have a children's book coming out. In fact, I have a meeting right after this with that. And like I said, I wish I can, I don't want to say anymore we have projects because you're right. I've been saying it forever. It's kind of like beating a dead horse. We do. And when it comes out, I can't wait when it happens. But yeah, like everybody in Hollywood, we're all working on something. Everybody's got projects. So when you hear that, people saying, oh, we're working on something, well, that's everybody in Hollywood. If you're not filming a show, you're working on something. It's one or the other. So we're going to keep working on what we got working on, and hopefully we'll be back soon. We miss everybody. We miss the fans. Like I said, Brittany and I are in a different place right now. We miss the people that followed us the last 10 years. We want to show everybody what we're doing now and how we've changed. And we want to bring crews and show everybody crews. And we want to show everybody, all the kids having fun. And we just want to show everybody the involvement. Because people want to see what are they doing now. We ended on our marriage. Now we're all with kids, so it's a different time. We're still doing shenanigans. I don't know, pun intended, with Scheana's podcast. We still do our shenanigans that are no good. Sometimes I'll have a boys' night and the girls will have a girls' night, but it's a different type now. It's more funny and laughable instead of biting it, instead of going like this, now it's laughing. It's funny. Watching me go to daddy daycare when I was a Hollywood partier is funny. So yeah. I hope we can bring something good for everybody. We miss everybody. I really appreciate you having me on here to explain. I love being vulnerable on this thing because I feel like I get to explain myself a little bit. I apologize if I offended anybody, if I said anything. I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm just trying to be real and be honest, and I hope everybody can appreciate that.
You were great. I really appreciate your honesty and being so open and answering all my questions. I'm sure many that you didn't want to revisit. So